Hello and welcome to the ExA Racing League Round 7 of the Crossplay Division. We're at Suzuka today. I'm Gareth Allen, otherwise known as Crablogger in the Discord. I'm very pleased to be presenting this today. Let's just get some of my settings in the right place and let's go through the standings for the Crossplay Division as it stands after round 6. Jack Clark has a big lead in the championship. He has 26 points over his nearest rival. Actually, it's Just Dale. You'll have to bear with me with the pronunciations. It's my first time commentating for the league. Just Dale is 26 points behind, so only maximum points for Just Dale this weekend of 27 points, 1 point for qualifying, 1 point for fastest lap, and the race win, and a DNF for Jack Clark would get him the lead of the championship after this race, but we'll see how it goes. Lucent Racing, I believe he's not racing this I was about to say this weekend, but today, but he's got 65 points, so it's a good place in the championship, but maybe saying goodbye to his title hopes if Jack Clark pulls out another win here. Glexus, he's got 60 points in 4th position for the Williams team. Chunky Skate, he is in 5th position, and I won't read through the rest because we'll be here for a long time. And if we go to the World Championship standings, let's have a quick look at the top 3. So the McLaren team are doing well, 138 points for them. They've had 1 win this season. Mercedes, they're doing well, 2 wins, but probably a little bit of inconsistency at times has left them behind McLaren. Thank you very much, Rowley. It's ale, Italian pronunciation. It's ale, Ali. Okay, I don't know what the Italian pronunciation is. But Mercedes have 105 points. Ferrari are 3rd in the championship, 97 points. Just 2 points behind, thanks to all the points from Jack Clark, except from one by the looks of it, is the Williams drivers, and Alfa Romeo are in 5th. Ale. Okay, so it's Ale. Okay, thank you for that. Ali. Which one's right, Ali or Ale? I don't know how you'll tell me. Okay, so we must be getting close to going into the race. It's a 50% race with short qualifying to start off with. Please follow along. Drop us a follow on our channel. If you haven't already, tell a friend. I'm sure there's Discord links somewhere on the About page. I haven't quite looked at it myself. But also we have a little social banner that will pop up during the race, so you can follow us on Twitter and TikTok and all the other ones that you want to follow us on. Ali. Sound, no H. Sound, you got me. Ali. Okay. Awesome. Right. Learning all the time. There's straight on cue. There's the social coming up. Please follow us across the media. Stay in touch with the server. We have some big things coming in the pipeline. Dirk Chocolate, of course, announcing that he's going to be joining a league, the Dirk League, for season 2, is it? Mid-November, I believe that starts. So very exciting news. We must be close to the start of the session, just having a few more people load in, I presume. Let's have a look in the Discord. It appears that some people are being invited into the league. So, let's go through and have a quick look at who is in for who. So, ExA Rowley, he's in the Ferrari this weekend, substituting for the Ferrari. RQS Timo Coopers, I'm going to say, he's in for McLaren. I don't believe Gaz MC has joined us. Epic, is he here? Is Epic here yet? I don't believe he is. Stone Knight was meant to be reserving, but doesn't look like Stone Knight's in here, unless they've got different names. They could do. And Snell is also is actually here. Now you can see Snell Vecchio. He is in the Aston Martin. So LH44 has already said that he's absolute ass here. I don't know if I'm going to swear on stream, but he's not doing. He's not got the best form here. It's a very tricky track. Be a very, very fascinating qualifying session, especially with short qualifying. Plenty of cars out on grid, jostling for position, and you really don't want to trip over a slow driver on your lap, especially through some of the tight sectors, like okay, I'll try not to swear. I don't know if anyway, but yeah, through the tight sections, the S's are very, very tricky. The S curves, all the way really to Donut Curve and the Degners, really tight. You do not want to come across a car there. You're basically stranded behind them. So just chat out and make me laugh here, but I can't repeat what they're saying. I'll just wake up my controller so I don't get booted out. League is elite. I would agree. Everything I've seen so far is very good. So yes, what was I saying? Yeah, you don't want to come across a car. It would be a very interesting qualifying. Try and find clean air to maximise your lap times. We'll see 2 or 3 laps, I'm sure. And also in the race, it's track position is king, really king around here. So difficult to overtake. Really, your overtaking opportunities are into Casio, the final hairpin on the track, turn 16, 17 and 18, I believe. But that's really, like, you have to be so close behind them and absolutely lunge for it there. And also into turn 1 and 2. The first turn, it's that's probably your best overtaking opportunity. There's also a whiff of opportunity into Dunlop Curve, not the Dunlop Curve, sorry, the Spoon Curve. And if you're called Kiyomi Kobayashi, of course, into the hairpin, I'll be calling that Kobayashi corner or Kobayashi hairpin throughout, because I absolutely love his work through there. If you're ever bored on YouTube, search some Kobayashi overtakes, and I bet half of them will be at turn 10 and 11 at the in the second sector of this track. Absolutely amazing what he did there. Absolutely threw it up the inside and made the other car back out. So we must be getting close to the start of the session. Just waiting for a few more cars to start in. We've got people getting restless in the Discord. Just a few more people to join. Everything is at overspec. It's taking spot if you're doing enough. That's true. Everything is also a place to get penalised by the stewards as well. Equally though. So you see some absolute dive bombs from Kobayashi at the hairpin. So it'd be amazing to see an overtake there. I did a commentator league race here a couple of weekends ago, and there was no overtakes into that. I can tell you a couple of mistakes, I would say, trying to overtake at least. Getting too close to the car and following just too closely behind. Right, okay, so lobbies always start about 10 minutes late. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know for the future. You need to get the ban hammer out and start banning some of these latecomers. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to be here. And it's my first ExA stream, so if you've got any feedback on any of the graphics that we're using, I mean the graphics are themselves really good, but more the placement. Rowley's been putting those out, but any of the commentary, anything you think we can do better, absolutely shout up, because I'm all ears, all about improving myself, improving the server. Hope you make it a really good premier destination to be. Thank you for the follow, Britannius, I'm going to say. Nice and unbiased view from Rowley there. Can you ban me midstream if I said they aren't good? No, I think they're excellent. That's really nice. So yes, we have the socials just at the bottom of the screen. If you're not already following along to those, the Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, obviously, just drop us a follow. We're almost at 100. Can we get to 100 by the end of the day? Maybe. If you're in the league, you're not following yet, absolutely drop us a follow. I am racing D2. So Avenged is a Division 2 racer, right? So that's PlayStation. And he's racing Division 2. Oh, because LH44. Presumably a big Hamilton fan. I don't know what the George Russell 63. Right, okay. That's what that is. Have you updated your name from like VB7, is it? LH44? VB7? Is that what he was last year? So, it's been set to heavy rain, I believe. I don't know if it's meant to be set to heavy rain. Oh no, there we are. It is being changed back to random. just throw it in heavy rain, see how it sticks. Maybe put some tractors out on track. just to make it a bit more realistic. I'm beating both you, Rowley and Alfie. Double opinion. Okay, so we must be getting close to start time now. I've said that a couple of times, but we're actually 10 minutes late now. So that's what Alfie said. Avenged Alfie. I've probably called you Aven loads of times without really looking fully at your name and realising it's Avenged Alfie 123. But that's just me. I'll probably just read the first half of it, even if the name is so clear at the end. We're just getting the final settings in place as the lobby is updated. And you're going to be in the poop when I turn into Prime Vettel. What does that mean? Prime Vettel isn't... Well, actually, Prime Vettel is pretty good, in fairness. Yeah, 2013 Vettel, sure. But he quickly goes off from there. As much as I say that, I'm a massive Vettel fan. So don't act like I hate Vettel, because I don't. It's one of his favourite circuits, this. Obviously, he was very emotional a couple of weeks back. When they were at the Suzuka Grand Prix, he realised it was a final qualifying session, and it's one of the best circuits for one lapping. Like time trial, it's always one of the first tracks I load up on the game every year, put a few laps up in Suzuka, see how spinny the curbs are through the S's. Actually not too bad this year. Last year, in 2021, you couldn't go within 10 metres of a curb or even think about a curb as you went through the S's, because you would be spinning out and into a gravel trap, and it's a very, very mistake punishing circuit here because of those gravel traps. We'll see cars going off. I'm sure if any cars go off turn 1, they'll have to be falling all the way to the back of the pack to find a safe place to rejoin. But yes, I mean, just doing a quick count, there's a handful of spectators. So we're not expecting the full 20, I believe, or 22, sorry. If well, it's full 20, because I think you can only have 22 people in the lobby. But I think there'll just be one more Red Bull racer. Oh no, it looks like we've got 2 Red Bull racers in today. I won't say anything about Seb Rowley, because I think he's amazing, but I have never been able to rewatch Hockenheim 2018 because of that moment and like what that signifies as a Vettel fan. It's like the beginning of the end. I've never been able to rewatch it. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Yeah, that could have been his championship that year, but oh well. Ferrari just went off the cliff at the end of that year anyway. So even if Vettel did win, I mean, he had a points lead, didn't he? But even if he did win that race, I don't think Ferrari would, or had provided Vettel a car to win. But it's not a W race. It's a heartbreaking race. Hockenheim 2019, is that a W race? Because I think it is. It is actually a very good race. It had everything. It had Nico Hulkenberg looking like he's going to get a podium and then binning it. It had the drag strip, which was completely sodden. So we're going to have some drivers readying up now. So we'll have the start of this session. Bit delayed, 13 minutes late as is. Hopefully it goes a lot smoother than a stream I did on Sunday, because there was a lot of server outages and I could barely get in. I had to hook up some very strange method where I was streaming someone else's stream who did get in, and not my best commentary. Not my best commentary, that one. As we have about cars starting to ready up, but they're not readying up. I think someone is just struggling to get in. Problematic EAID. It's not the nicest crossplay system. I would say that. Very, very difficult to get people in. Thanks for the follow, Ifratic. That is 98 followers. No, that will tick up to 99, I'm sure. And we're only one away from 100. There we are. Ticks up to 99. Who will be the 100th follower? So I don't know the names to the drivers. I presume. Could someone tell me who Jack Clark is? Is he? So he's at Williams. Oh no, he's Mercedes driver. So it must be TTV Jetters, I presume. If I can't see another TTV Jetters, yeah. Oh no, Jetters is the other Mercedes driver. So there's no Jack Clark. There's no Jack Clark. So no Jack Clark. He's in the lobby yet. Right, okay. So, just a few more moments, I promise. Thanks for watching along. And the lobby looks like it's going to go. We have 28 seconds until qualifying at the Suzuka International Race Course. It's a coastal track, the only figure-of-8 track on the circuit, on the F1 schedule. At least it will be until that Saudi Arabian track that they're planning on making is. It's got seems to have a figure-of-8 towards the the first and final sectors, but it's got so many turns. The one being designed by Alex Vers, if anyone's seen that, it's got about like 30 turns or something. I don't think they'd ever be able to run a full course. But into the lobby we go to start off round 7, and we'll have a look at who's the pace setters, who can do well around this very, very tricky track. And we'll turn off. Oh well, we don't need to turn off the webcam for that, so we'll leave it on. It's usually if the webcam can block that blocks the scoreboard, then emphatic says wait. I'm sure you could have done. Were you? I don't know. Some people haven't turned up. I'm sure some people will turn up through the session now. But we'll have a quick look at the track map. No one seemed to go out straight away. Just taking a moment to let other cars rubber in the circuit. Obviously, the fastest times won't come from the start of this session. It will rubber in dramatically over the course of the next 18 minutes. And no cars out on track yet, so we are waiting a little while. No one wants to spend their tyres. Maybe. I'd completely forgotten to bring my phone in here, so I won't be able to tell if it's going to be a wet session or not, but I was wondering if there was any kind of wetness coming along, but we have quite a lot of cars leaving out on track now. The Williams driver of Revenge, it must be, is the first car out on track. So we'll ride on board with Revenge as we go around this historic circuit, and he travels through 1 and 2 on the soft tyres on his outlap. And let's get the best detail up. As the Red Bull is actually trying to force his way through, doesn't want to get stuck behind Revenge. That's the Red Bull of pool driver 46. He's decided to get out in front of Revenge and take that clear air, and actually quite a few cars jostling going through Degner 1-3 wide on the qualifying lap. I don't think it's strictly necessary, but people want to get a hurry up after waiting a minute or so to get out. They're all really quickly jostling for position. Now actually the Williams car first out, and that is one of the very good things about being in the Williams or one of those lower league teams like Haas, is your pit box is right at the end of the pit lane. So in qualifying you've got a little bit more time to get your setup on and get out for the session and get that clear air right at the start, if that's the way you'd like to play things. But we have the two Red Bull drivers, they're working closely together. I don't think we'll see any slipstreaming on this track, or it's quite difficult to get the draft in any of the circuits this year because of the lack of real slipstream performance through the game. But let's wind it up for this qualifying lap. Turn on telemetry and let's watch him throw it into this first set of corners. Through turn 1, turn it in, use that curb all the way on the right and brake down to 5th, 4th gear and try and rotate the car as much as you can. Obviously trying to make it through a straight line as we enter the S's. And it's looking okay so far, quite neat, but it's certainly not riding those curbs too much, paying them a lot of respect, trying to keep it as tight as possible as he comes through the Dunlop curve and towards Degner 1 and Degner 2, obviously named after Ernst Degner in 1962, had the first ever crash at the Suzuka International Race Course, and that's why those corners are called Degner. And then we're going to come to Kobayashi hairpin. The hairpin, I call it that, it's just the hairpin, but Kobayashi hairpin, he did some amazing overtakes there during his stint in Formula 1, including onto his only podium, on his way to his only podium as we come towards Spoon Corner to finish the second sector. Such a tricky corner, you have to throw it in, and he spins, gets a bit too far wide out, the car bottoms out on the outside curb and luckily doesn't get in the way of any of the other drivers. But let's go on board with Revenge, because he will be coming through the pack now as he heads towards 130R, and Paul Driver just getting a bit washed out through Spoon and bottoming out the car on the curb. But as Revenge goes through 130R and comes to Casio, of course famously Ayrton Senna threw up the inside of the cross there and he left him no room, and there was a bit of shenanigans about skipping that corner, as there was in the real race of course. And it's a 1:37.34, so that's a decent time to set for the first time. Timo Kupers goes straight away faster, 1:29.624, so he takes first position. TTV Jetters, he has gone over the line and he is in third position with a 1:39.61. And Sumi Al, he goes into second position, so good results so far for the Haas boys. Dago, how's he doing? As he goes over the line, he gets a 1:55, so it shows that he's had a bit of a moment on his lap, and that would make sense as he was only just behind Paul Driver. And Paul Driver has gone again, and he's spun at the S's, does manage to get out the way of, it must be TTV Jetters, the Mercedes, and his fellow Red Bull driver who is in a hot lap. He does get out of the way as well. So those cars have got out of the way. Let's see the Aston Martin of Snell Ricolia. He's coming to the final corner, but he doesn't look like he's on a lap. No, he's coming into the pits and he's invalidated his lap. So the AlphaTauri of IGP, he's coming through Spoon Curve and down towards the bridge over the race circuit. And immediately after 130R, the flat out corner used to be a much bigger challenge than it is nowadays, but flat out now, try and keep it as tight as possible. And through Casio, use every bit of that, of the kind of curving there. He actually takes quite a wide line through the final part of Casio there, and this is a 1:32.17, so still a good lap time, despite taking that line out of Casio. Could save a few temps, I think, by just riding that inside curb and straightening the corner a little bit. But a good time by IGP Anomaly. Anomaly, I'll say that. And Dago comes around, but of course we saw him have his moment. Well, actually no, he is on a lap. He is on a lap. He has gone 1:29.098. It was Paul Driver, of course, who didn't have a didn't set a lap time because he had that moment through the S's and had the moment the lap before through Spoon. So looking a bit jittery him for, but where one Red Bull is faltering, the other is absolutely flying around the circuit. A 1:29.098. Very, very good from Dago. And I don't believe, unless he's got a different name on the scoreboard, I don't think he's actually on the scoreboard, and has that presumably means he's not raced before. So coming in as a reserve, Dago, and yes, I do believe he's coming as a reserve because the other one of the Red Bull seats, the Red Bull of someone, is being reserved. But anyway, I clearly don't know enough about the ins and outs of intricacies of the roster. Lenner, he is on a lap but getting out of the way of cars through the S's, so must have had a spin. Noddy, he is also getting out of the way of cars. He's in an out lap, as we had a Mercedes absolutely flying through, and he's 4 temps up on his first sector. So not the fastest first sector for TTV Jetters, but can he go and put in a decent time here? ExA Rowley, he's also on a lap as he's coming out of Spoon Curve. Bok says that he needs an invite. I think I think Rowley's run out of fuel there, so I don't think he was actually on a lap. But TTV Jetta's also slowing down, and Rowley trying to get out of the way there before the faster cars come through 130R, and that means he's absolutely stalled. He's absolutely out of fuel, and that will cost cars behind him quite a bit of time, and they have to work out quite what's going on. And he crosses the track there in front of his fellow Ferrari driver. Probably, presumably, got a warning of that. But Noddy, who's on an outlap, TTV Ali, he was on an outlap, so that wouldn't have impeded him. So just crossing over there, I think Rowley ran out of fuel. But we'll go on board with TTV Giselle as he started this lap, just getting out of the way. I think that was the AlphaTauri of LH44. Beautifully getting out of the way, not going for out the pits, fully aware of where his car is. And Just Ale is coming through. Just Ali, sorry, I'm going to do that so many times. Just Ali is coming through Dunlop Curve, and let's see where his first sector time is. It's looking like a 32.406. So it says purple first sector, but do not believe that track map. It's so glitchy in this game. It usually means it's their fastest first sector rather than the session type best first sector. Why it can't just be green in that case, I don't know. It's completely glitched. But we have Revenge. He's gone in and set a 1:37.34, so a good time from him. But still 1.5 seconds off the pace that Dago has set very early into the session. You have to expect that he'll be able to get into the 1:28s. Predicted pole time around here for me is always around a 1:29. So he's already really on that cusp of a predicted pole time. And hard to extract much more pace from it around this track, but seemingly with the bit between his teeth, absolutely throwing it around as Ali is coming round the final corner now, and he crosses the line at 1:29.237. So the Ferrari driver, the Scarlet Ferrari, goes up into second place just behind Dago. So this competition is not over yet. Only 2 tenths behind. We also have Snell Lacolia. He's in a pit. Who was spun out though? There looks like there was a yellow flag, but that's been waved clear as a Haas is going very slowly through Spoon, and it's TTV Jetta's just trying to get out the way at the beginning of the S's. Doesn't want to chip anyone up through that part of the track, and stopping completely on his outlap. And we have there's a Haas there trying to get out of the way. I think it must be low fuel mode because it's going incredibly slow. Yep, so also struggling with low fuel mode at this part of the qualifying. So underfueled the car and hasn't got enough fuel to get round to the pits. And getting out of the way of the faster cars here, and there's a lot of faster cars coming, so I don't know when he's going to be able to rejoin the track. He'll just have to take the Latifi line through Casio. And he does get back to the pits, spots the escape road. As Paul Diver comes through the final corner, of course, he had those moments on his first 2 laps. Can he get a lap time in? He does a 1:31.8, but he doesn't improve his placement as it's a whole second behind the pace. So you'd have to think he may have made a mistake out there. As he spins again. I think I'm just a bad luck charm for Paul Diver every time I've loaded on board with him. He's spun. So Lennart is now on a lap too, and he's spun it too. So overheating tyres, and the Williams just escapes him. And Snell Racolia, he's on an outlap. Dago, he is is he on a lap? Yes, he's on a lap, and he's up on his time. Of a 32 second. 32.095, I think that was. As he comes into Spoon and throws it in, uses every bit of the outside runoff. Hasn't got a car too low. So he can use that curbing. It's very effective. Keeps a tight line through this curvy part of the straight before 130R. And it's a purple middle sector, and I believe it this time round because he is the fastest in the session. So he is going faster. And as he comes through the final corner, down turn 19 he goes. A very low traction zone out of that corner. It's a 1:28.6. 1.9. He's 4 tenths faster. He's absolutely set the pace alive there, and he'll surely have time to return to the pits and do one more lap. So absolutely brilliant time from Dago, the Red Bull driver there, as we have a Williams car coming through the final few corners, but I think it's either a Williams car or, yes, it is a Williams car, and it's going very slowly. We have coming through 130 now, it's Rowley. He is on a lap, and we actually see rain start to fall. There is just a whiff of rain, I believe, if my eyes don't deceive me. And there is rain starting to fall in this session, so cars will have to get their lap times in right now. Rowley doesn't improve on his time, 2 tenths down, and the track conditions will start to fall off a cliff. So this could be it for the results, as Paul Diver has another spin as I go on him again. I've absolutely cursed him today. And Lena is returning to the pits. He knows it's probably not time to get faster. And one of the things I absolutely dislike about this game, I'll have to show you next time someone goes into pits. The pits are like bumpy. I don't know how they can't just flatten that out, but it's like a roller coaster. It's like the extension of the amusement park you have to walk through to get to this track. But Snell Ricolia, he is looking to put a lap time in, hasn't put a lap time in yet, and is struggling in these wetter conditions, and he's running very, very close to the line. And is this enough to snatch 13th place off Paul Dive? It's not. He's 1/10 down, and you have to think the session is now really over. Anyone looking to improve their time, it's just not going to happen unless you're Lena. He's the only person who could, in my opinion, improve his time, because he has set no time. So this is wet conditions. Paul Diver has left the session. Not quite sure why he's done that. Probably a glitch. And cars start to return to the pit. Surely. There's the McLaren coming through Degner 2. He's on his outlap. I just don't think anyone is going to improve now. So it's kind of futile, really. You're just wasting a pair of softs that may be useful during the race. And Glexus, he's on his outlap, but he does have a car right behind him, so that's quite a lot of heavy blocking, really. Glexus, I don't think he's fully realised there is an Aston Martin behind, and that Aston Martin, I don't know if it's pushing. Let's have a look. I spun now, so Kirsting, but he was seemingly quite held up by the Williams driver there. So hopefully he wasn't on a push lap and he wasn't actually being held up there, but seemed to cause him a spin at least. And now Snelvicolia has faster cars coming through. That will be the Alfa Romeo of Noddy, and it's starting to really come down now, and you can see the cars, they're starting to give up, really. There's just no pace out there. They're really being quite stingy with the use of throttle. Out of spoon, and through spoon rather. So you can see the track conditions have just gone away from this session, and we'll have to say that it looks like Dago will take pole here by a 1:28.619, crossing over the line moments before the wet weather hit. So really getting the best of the track conditions, and let's just have a look at this. Let's have a look at the silliness that is this pit lane. So let's disable telemetry so you can all have a look. Look at the cars come in, and look at them go down a sharp ramp. It's like monster truck. It's like a sight bike in Suzuka. Ludicrous, but at least they animated the Ferris wheel, so all good. So I think that's the end of the session. I hate to call it, but Lena is out on a lap. Rowley saying lost 7 tenths in the second half of that last lap because of the rain. Yeah, the conditions really have fallen away, really, haven't they? So, very difficult. Lena is going into the hairpin. He'll try and set a time, I think. But I don't know if he'll... Well, I don't think he'll go faster than 14th position. Maybe Lena's the fastest driver here, and, you know, rain or shine, he can set a 28.5. I don't know, but doesn't look like this lap is absolutely setting the world on fire as we go through the sectors and through Spoon. You can just see the lack of confidence during turning, and it's a corner which you really have to feed your way through, and DRS has even been disabled at this point, so the DRS flap closes. Well, actually there's no DRS there, but the DRS would have closed if he was in a DRS zone, as comes through Casio. It's a 1:28.6 already, so he's already away from pole time. And it's going to be a 1:34 something by the looks of it, 1:34.850. So he gets a lap time in, but you can see the session has gone. Cars have started to retire from the session. We have 30 seconds left on the clock before a brief interlude. And of course we will have, I don't know what it is, 60, 50, what would it be? 53 laps normally, so is it 27 laps or 22, 26 laps? I can't quite remember. It'll be 26 or 20, I think it was 26 laps actually of this circuit. And you can see the little speckled twilight-esque sparkly floor surface coming through, so we're even at the crossover for intermediates. Does anyone in chat, do you know if it's going to be raining in the race? Because I've stupidly left my sim dashboard elsewhere. It's 27 laps, okay, thank you. Do you know if it's going to be wet in the race? Is there any wet weather predicted for the race? Or is it just this end of qualifying that will be wet? Usually I can check my sim dashboard, but I haven't brought my phone in for the commentary, which is good. At least you won't hear me. Not that anyone's blowing up my DMs. Only 2 seconds. I mean, I think a 1:35 is a very good time around here. At my absolute limit, I can creep into the 29s. Absolute limit around here, and I've loved this track. Put a lot of time into it. But it'll be a different track, so I can't remember if there's going to be whatever. Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll wait and see as we have the results. So I'll just disable my webcam and we'll have a quick look at all the results. Let's disable that webcam. We have the fastest lap, a 1:28.619. I think the world record is like a 1:26, at least on Xbox it is. I have no idea. I'm saying a 1:26. I haven't looked at it in a long time. But obviously TT, very different conditions. And we have incidents here. Speeding in the pit lane. Quite a few of those. People throwing it into the pit lane. But of course no penalties dished out during the qualifying moments. But Dago will get a point for his endeavours in qualifying, as we have 27 laps of Suzuka coming up, and look at that, it's bright blue skies. I don't think there's going to be any rain today. The weather will have to dramatically get worse. All dry, so it's going to be a nice dry session for the drivers, which will be good for the confidence of them. And if you've not followed along yet, if you're not following the Twitch, please do. If you're new to the channel, if you've just popped on here from Twitch, obviously look at our socials. Socials will pop up at the bottom of the screen periodically. We'll also have they'll pop up periodically, and we'll also have some links, I'm sure, on the Twitch page. So 7 seconds left, and we'll have the race start at Suzuka. As the drivers begin to stare, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and ExA go racing at Suzuka, and it's a good start for Dago. And it's a good start for Timo just behind. He may be being able to go around Ali as we come round turn 2. I think Ali has just snuck ahead. Oh, they're running him really, really wide. And Cupers looks like he's got that place back. And Cupers is off the track. And there's a spin. There's a collision between the Ferrari and the Ferrari and the McLaren. I believe that was the second and third place on the grid. So that's created a huge gap for Dago in the Red Bull, and Glexus has just happily cruised through though. They were trying to go too wide through the S's, and there was just a collision off screen between the cuts of the camera as Glexus and Dago go through to Degner 2. Actually, Dago's already up off the Kobayashi corner. It's LH44 who's now pressuring Glexus for second place in this race. Of course, that qualifying session, I'm sure, has left a few cars out of place from their natural pace starting positions, and LH44 is desperate to get by on this lap straight away, so that gap to the sister team of the Red Bull does not grow too much. So it was contact by Cupers, which is absolutely disastrous for his championship prospects. I think. Oh no, I don't know if he's in the championship, to be honest. But it's certainly not good for Ali's championship prospects. He's only down to 4th place, but he'll be looking to make a big closing lap over Jack Clark this weekend to close down that championship, as he's not racing. And we have Ali. He's took back 3rd position now, so Glexus has got by. And actually, LH44, where is he? He's fallen off. Must have made a mistake. And Glexus runs wide, so Ali's back up to 2nd position after that spin on the opening lap. And Lipiak's FUT, he's right behind the Williams car as they go through the S's. So Glexus had a good lap and a bad lap in a way, going forward, but also relinquishing places right at the end of that lap. Probably maybe a collision between them and LH44 as they go through Degner 2. Dago has absolutely opened up an insurmountable lead. Is it insurmountable? 4.5 seconds from Ali. He's obviously 2nd place in the championship, fastest lap, and a win and a fastest lap would take him level on points with Jack Clark, but obviously needs to close down that gap or hope for a bit of bad luck, maybe a safety car or two to help him close down the pack. If you guys are on safety car, I believe you do. And Dago's saying, use DOS. Dago. Okay. Dago's on about 54% EOS charge. So, Ali. I'll get it right one day. Ali, he's seeming to stabilise that gap, so seems to have good pace actually. And let's have a quick look at what the tyres the cars are on, because that's an important aspect of this race. So the top 5 cars are all on hards. LH44 is on the mediums, had that contact early on. TTV Jess is going on the softs to start with. Very, very ambitious move that was. And QP he started in 3rd position I believe, and has fallen down 212 after that collision through the S's. Let's just have a look at the positions change to see who the winners and losers are. And it really is a lot of places lost by Cupers, 9 places lost. So must have started in 3rd place, fall down into 12th. Lena has made up a lot of ground, obviously didn't get a lap in during qualifying, a lap in representative conditions, but is showing that he has more pace than being at the back of the grid, as we have a yellow flag through Sector 2, and it looks like TTV Jetters is recovering from a moment. He's gone very deep, and he rejoins the track just in front of Paul Driver, who's converted his poor qualifying form into poor race form, it must be said. But the Dago is just opening up that gap a little bit more, but has run his EOS very low, so is pushing to open up the gap. And Ali also using as much EOS as he can, had about 25% more charge at the start of this lap. Glexus being pulled away from, but let's have a look at some of the tight areas of this race. And going through 130R, there's only about 3 seconds between 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th place. They're so close, and Constantina's up. There's a bit of a train formed behind the Williams of the Revenge. Sorry, is it the Williams? Yeah, it is the Williams of Revenge. As they come through lap 4 of this Crossplay Division event, round 7, and into 5th. It was an overtake there? No, there wasn't. He was always in 5th position. Not a lot of overtaking during this early stage of the race. Well, now it's calmed down. I'd say the first 5 laps, the final 5 laps, are crucially important to the kind of strategies that play, and you just want to settle down into a nice rhythmic style. Mathieu's left the session, but he was just spectating. And through Sector 2, there is a yellow flag, and looks like a car off at Degner 2, and it's Rowley and Lena. They look like they've come to blows at Degner 2. So Rowley and the Ferrari, the Alpine of Lena, looks like they've had an incident at Degner 2, are coming together, and they are recovering from that now nicely. Well, not nicely. It's poor for Lena because he's only gained 1 place over his starting position there. He's gained 6 or 7 positions. Rowley down 1 position from his starting place. Now let's switch back to the tyre view Cooper's making his way back through the pack thanks to those crashes from the Ferrari and Alpine driver. Of course, Rowley just in reserving this weekend, this Wednesday rather, as Cooper is on an absolute mission, I'm sure, to get back to the front of this grid. Says he's certainly got the pace to race and be at the sharp end of this pack, and it looks for a move up into turn 1, and he's absolutely thrown it down the inside, and IGP Anon has got out of the way there, I think. Just maybe felt like he wasn't racing him too hard and left a lot of space for Timo, who's making his way through the pack after that opening lap debacle between the two, and now it's 2.7 seconds up to the Alfa Romeo of Noddy, and Leipzig's FUT is right behind LH44 here. LH44 having a mistake, maybe a little incident with Lexus on those opening laps, and I believe Snell has fallen down the order. He's just had a moment. Oh, and there's a moment from Sumial, and Noddy has got in front of him, so has Leipzig. So up into 5th position, LH44 goes, getting back up there, and the gap at the front has opened up to 6.7 seconds. So showing he has a lot of pace. There you go. Obviously a long way to go. 22 laps left of this Japanese Grand Prix as he closes down the next car, which will be LH44 Noddy, which will be Leipzig's foot. He just got in front of Sumial, who made a mistake out of Kobayashi corner. Obviously very tricky on traction, but Sumi trying to go on the offensive through Casio and looking to line up a pass, but of course the cars in front will have DRS, so it was such a DRS train. But Noddy has spotted a mistake from Leipzig and is going up the inside, has the pace. Will Sumial try to follow Noddy through on the move with Leipzig, and Lena's got a 3-second time penalty for running track limits. I believe Snell Rokia has also got that. So as they go through the S's, it's very, very close racing, and Noddy will be looking for a move on LH, on those medium tyres. He should have better pace than the hards behind him. These hards feel absolutely atrocious at times around this track, but over the next 5-10 laps they'll come into their own compared to the mediums. The mediums will start to fall off a bit of a cliff over the next 5 laps and start to go backwards. The hards will last 15 to 20 laps. The mediums will last 10 to 15 if you're really, really pushing it. Softs are very good for 1 lap pace around here, but not good for much else. Of course, the meta strategy is that hard to medium strategy across the league racing because of the lack of variety in the tyre choices in this game, which doesn't quite mirror real life, but what can you do about it? They said they won't update it, so we'll have to pay another $60 to get that improvement in the future. As we go through 130 yard, there's a bit of weaving from LH44 trying to break the toe, and actually Noddy is falling back through here. He's at the natural concertina now. He is just losing a little bit of time, so the front end speed of LH44 is better. And oh, there's a bit of a moment out of Cassia getting too squirrely on traction. Will that make Leipzig have an opportunity to overtake here? No, I think Noddy's recovered from that as LH44 just weaving about trying to break that toe. And through turn 2 they go. The Alfa Romeo driver up into 6th position and fighting hard to get to the sharp end of the Grand Prix. The front 3 have really stayed quite stable, so has 4th place to revenge the 2 Williams cars doing really, really well in this race. Williams are, of course, 4th in the championship, so a good result here, and I think as it stands at the moment could take them up into 2nd position, maybe only 3rd position actually, because there is, of course, 2 Ferraris competing and one of them is in 2nd place, so he'll pick up 18 points plus whatever fastest lap thing he can pick up. Fastest lap point he can pick up. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. We'll see towards the end of the race what will happen there. As we have the 2 Williams cars in 3rd and 4th position. And the gap to leader is quite big. You can see that natural field spread already. And TTV Jettas has come into the pits. So he's leaving the pits and he's going on to his pair of mediums. Started on that soft tyre, of course. I think gambling for a safety car, that would be. As he's got a long way to go, medium and soft run to the end, but he's lost so much time that it will be difficult for him to gain that back without the intervention of something else. As we have a yellow flag, and it's Snell. He's spun out of the having difficulty with the heat of his tyres as well. He's spun out of Spoon and down the hill, and there's a sector 1, 2 and 3. There is usually sector 1, 2 and 3 yellow flag means safety car. Snell runs very wide through there as well, struggling to keep the traction down, and has dirty tyres of course, so that won't be providing him any grip. But back to the sharp end, and let's go back to interval so we can better see the gaps in the track. Noddy is in 7th position, just behind 6th place position Cupers. So Cupers looks like he's actually gone through and made a move on Noddy there, because he was of course in 6th position just like before. So gaining time and trying to regain back to the front end of this grid, obviously trying to pick up points for the McLaren team in their battle for the Constructors' Championship. They are leading the Constructors' Championship as it stands, and I think on the road they are also leading it, but they would be losing a little bit of ground to the Ferrari team as it stands in 2nd position. Oh no, they're in 3rd position, 97 points, so they're roughly 45 points back, but any points are good points, and there's 3 races left after the end of this championship. I believe it's Interlagos next. No, it's not Interlagos. Where is it? Yeah, it must be Interlagos next, right? As we come down into the first corner, he's trying to close that gap to LH44, who's actually looking for an overtake on Revenge, and up the inside, and Revenge manages that gap very nicely indeed. But of course that little bit of time loss through battling will bring Timo further and further back into the race, and give him an opportunity to sniff out and move any mistakes from the cars ahead, and he will be snatching at the chance to get back up to the sharp end of the grid. And please follow us on our social, stay abreast of all the information coming through the EXA at the moment. Very exciting times for us, and follow those social links at the bottom of the screen right now if you want to do that. Timo Cupers is right behind LH44 now. You'll have to tell me how to say your name, Timo, if you watch this back. Timo Cupers, I'm going to go for. Cupers. I'm terrible at pronunciation, but he's trying to go around up the inside at Spoon, and he gets the job done. Not normally overtaking position, but sense the opportunity for the attack. Clearly has a big pace advantage here. Absolutely out of position because of the pace, because of that instant at turn 4 or 5. The S's on lap 1 with Ali. And Rowley has now got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting around here, and using these curves very nicely. As spoken in qualifying, you have to use the inside those curves, and Revenge peels into pits. So that is an early pit stop for Revenge. So has he picked up damage? He's actually had to retire from the race. So that's disappointment from Williams. They look like they're in a really good position, but Revenge has had to retire from the race. Obviously an issue on his side, and Cupers is up to fourth position because of that. So it was an early pit stop, and it does the typical thing of changing the tyres and releasing the car back on the track, but I don't think that will affect anyone. Maybe it will affect Lena, who is in 12th position, as TTV Jetters is got past the Aston Martin Snell, and he now has 2.5 seconds to the other Williams car, so trying to pick up good points for McLaren here. And unless Cupers is Lucent Racing, I'm guessing he could be Lucent Racing. We'll see. So Paul Driver, he is up into 12th position because of the DNF, and there's only been one DNF in this session. As we come through Spoon, and he just runs a little bit wide, but I think LH44 followed him through on that line. And he's going to try and close him down here, but I just don't think he has the pace of Timo here. And Timo's closed down the gap to the car in front by 0.8 of a second on that lap. So another lap of that kind of pace, and he of course made a mistake at Spoon, which probably lost him 2 or 3 tenths. A lap at that kind of pace, he'll be right behind him next lap. So one more lap, and I think on the pace that Timo's going, he'll be able to close down that battle. And Noddy and Lipix, they're of course still fighting, and there's a huge amount of desync there from Lipix. That must have been a very scary onboard moment for Noddy as he saw Lipix swinging around in front of him, but it was just desync. There was no contact made, thankfully, and those two live to fight another day. But LH44 clinging on to Timo as well here, so this isn't actually bad pace from him. But Timo is closing down, as I said, and you can see that gap visibly coming down as he comes through Degner 1 and Degner 2. So tricky on these curbs, really hard to run those curbs there. Any kind of full throttle on those curves with TC off will leave you in the bin under the bridge and not in a happy Red Hot Chili Peppers way. So Timo closing down Glexus, and he's now in the DRS range, so we could see an overtake coming very soon, but Glexus has a reserve, a vat of ERS to burn up. As there's a spinner at Sector 3, it's TTB Jetters, and he's gone off the track. It looks like his car is out of this race, and there is a full course safety car, so this is perfect time for those medium runners, and not a great time for anyone on the hards right now. Yeah, I think a few cars will maybe think about switching their strategy on to the medium tyres, and Glexus is one of those people, just about keeps it in the line, and Cupers also follows them in. Such a tricky place to get stopped. The racing line is completely incorrect if you ever race with that on around here. Noddy gets a 5-second speeding penalty. So, Noddy gets a 5-second speeding penalty onto the mediums, and a change of front wing as well. So that pace closing down, and all that pace, and he's had to change his front wing. Now that may cost Cupius just a position or two. It does cost him a position to Noddy. It costs him a position to Lipix, so he's down into 7th place because of that. But it's a good stop because he is absolutely in position to attack even harder. He's on the mediums. I mean, the mediums are going to feel very deftly towards the end of this race. You'll be looking for maybe a safety car towards the end of the race to freshen up for softs and get through those final closing stages. They do seem to go off a cliff quite early, but as I said, that they'll make about 10 laps, and of course a few of these laps will be under safety car, so won't be using the full tyre life, burning up the rubber and overheating the compound. That'll probably be quite cool. And thank you ERTG Chalkers, appreciate that. We're now at 100 followers on the EXA, which is good news. So thank you very much. You can be the special 100th follower. You win absolutely nothing this time around. Can you please send me an invite? I don't know. Are you Xbox, Matteo? Because I don't know if I can set. Can I send you an EAID invite halfway through? Because I don't know if I've got you directly. If someone does have Matteo, it's unfortunate you wouldn't have think. Can you invite friends through here? Invite some requests. Oh, you can! Right, okay. That makes a lot of sense. I've never seen that menu before. Okay. And I've just sent you an invite. So you should have an invite there. Let me know if you had to. So, Dago has decided to pit there, but he's pit really late. He has pit really late, and he's lost loads of positions because of it. I think he decided it wasn't the right time to pit. But everyone else has pitted, and he will have slightly fresher tyres. But I'd missed that. He got caught by the safety car. I think it must have come out right in front of him, and it's caught Dago out. He had a huge, ginormous lead to the cars in front, and Ali, Glixus, LH44, Timo, Lipix, Noddy, Summy all gained positions because of the misfortune of Dago there. He had a massive lead here, so it'll be really, really, really interesting to see him progress through the field here. How will he do it? Will it be clean? And as Chalkers says, Dago caught the safety car before he could pit, and it's just a terrible moment. It's a terrible moment because of course, if it comes out and you've passed the pit entry, then you have to wait behind the safety car. It's the only time that will happen. Usually you can go. You will have the chance to pass the pits, but there's a very, very small moment where, of course, you're at danger, and that has hurt Dago massively. But with the pace he's shown, it will be at least exciting to watch him come through the pack here, and we'll see how he can do. And I don't think will have the safety car in this lap, as we still have Paul Driver running down at the back, and Snell must be a lap down. So Snell is a lap down, so that's very unfortunate for him. Of course, there's no lucky dog rule in Formula 1. In real life, of course, they can let the lapped cars by, but in the game that isn't simulated. So if you're lapped, you're basically lapped. There's no way of coming back from that one. Sometimes maybe you can run and not pit on the first lap available and see if you can get by all the cars, but I think maybe he could have done. He seemed to be quite far back, so you have to be within the pit distance of all the cars that have lapped you for that strategy to work. But we still have another lap to go as the Red Bull of Paul Driver catches up. Now he is on the lead lap, he's the final car on the lead lap, and actually Cupers has come into the pits. He's coming to the pit, so he's going on the hard tyre, which will be awful, and he's serving his 5-second pit loss. So he looks like he's going on the hard tyre here. He is going on the hard tyre. He's run a long time now. He must have had wing damage under the safety car, so he serves his 5-second penalty. That's half good, but must have had wing damage here, as he's had to pit for the hard tyre, and Rowley does get out in front. Maybe he has to serve a penalty, but that has hurt him massively, all that recovery drive. And now it's Ali leading the race. Now 25 points and the fastest lap here. That would give him the joint lead of the championship with Jack Clark. So absolutely, this has gone perfectly for him so far. Of course, Dago will push so hard to try and catch up on that pair of mediums. He had to pit a lap later because of the timing of the safety car, but we should see the safety car go in this lap. Dramatic stuff here on lap 14 of this Grand Prix, as Dago led the race for so long, so competently, so perfectly. Good race. And by the end of the first sector, he already had a 2-second lead. By the end of the second sector, it was about 4 seconds. It was a remarkable first lap, as Ali had a collision with Timo Cupers and fell down the order. He's recovered up to first position. Cupers, who was on an absolute mission, got up to third or second position, and he's obviously crashed into the car in front, not paying attention, maybe caught out by a braking concertina through Casio or the 130R section, and that's cost him a lot there. But I don't think we're going to have cars. Oh, we do have the safety car in this lap. As TTV Just Ali absolutely lights up his tyres. He's lighting up his tyres, trying to build as much heat as possible on his restart. And let's ride on board. Let's make sure it's one clear, concise return to racing. No starting and stopping Lewis Hamilton style at 2007 Fuji. And no, it's a great restart for him, as Glexus is gapped and actually under pressure from LH44, who is in turn under pressure from Leipzig, but I don't think they're close enough to get a move done. Dago certainly is very close to Sumiel and looks up the inside of turn 2. Not normally a position you can kind of box a car in here, and we'll see if he can get any move done through the S's. And actually, he spins! He spins! So his day goes from bad to worse. He was doing so well. There's a spinner of Alpine of Lena, and Dago is spin. He's lost his front wing. And Timo, who's coming to the pits again, probably to put those medium tyres on, so actually really caught out by the change of safety car. He's all the way at the back. At least he'll maybe in front of Dago, who knows. But that's very, very disappointing for him, and that puts Ali in a very, very good place here. If he can eke out the rest of this Grand Prix on that set of mediums, he'll be good. But I tell you who's in a very, very good position for the longevity of this race. It's LH44, the AlphaTauri driver, on the hard tyre. And he is absolutely in a great position, because towards the end of this Grand Prix, if there's no more safety cars, and, you know, hopefully there's not, he will be able to pull a gap on the cars in front of him. And he's already putting Glexus under pressure. So if he can get into second position, there's every chance that LH44, the AlphaTauri driver, could take the win of this Grand Prix. He's down in 12th position in the championship at the moment, and looking for an overtake is the car behind. It's Lipix, the Haas driver. And he's looking for an overtake. As they go through turn 1 and turn 2, they're also close together, separated by half a tenth of a second. Half a second, not half a tenth of a second. That would be minutiae. As they go through the S's, absolutely pinning it and trying to stay as close to the car in front, just in case they make a mistake, they can nip around. And very, very close racing. Good stuff as we head into Degner 1 and end the first sector. And up the inside, can he do anything? He's really looking. He's all over the back end. And LH44, I think, has just settled down, fallen off the back of Glixus through the S's. He was only 1/10 behind at the start of it, but these medium tyres obviously working very well for Lipix during this early stage. Now, he doesn't want to burn these up too much, because if there's no safety car to the end, they'll feel absolutely rotten towards the end, and these hards will start to come in their own. But, of course, Ali has a 3-second gap. He'll be loving seeing the battling behind, and the longer the Glexus can keep LH44 behind, the better the chance he has at taking the win of this race, and perhaps getting the fastest lap to boot. Let's see, he's in that wonderful clean air. Now, you'd have to think that someone like Dago, who will also get clean air because of his spin earlier, he may be taking that point off him, but he'll only be 1 point behind us. Oh, there's a big bit of desync there. Not quite sure what happened there. Big bit of desync, but falling just out of range, and he doesn't get the fastest lap of the race that time round, so it just shows how quick Dago is, and he's gone onto a pair of softs, so he'll be setting an absolutely flying lap time. I expect to see a 1:29 from him, or at least a 1:30 at this stage of the race. But through P2, Dago will now absolutely be hoping for some kind of strategic look. Cooper's just behind will also be hoping for a safety car. And there is a yellow flag at sector 1. It's the McLarens. They were having such a good day, but they've fallen down the order. Into 8th position goes Summy. He was running second. And he's been running midway through the points, halfway through. Obviously, points all the way down to 12th position, so Coopers would get a single point. But yes, it's 20 points for a second position. So I should remember that, because it's not quite the official F1 points. It's 25 points for first, 20 points for second, 18 points for third, 15 points for fourth, 12 points for fifth, and all the way points down to 12th position. So still in the points here. Both McLarens picking up points, but it's a good day for the Ferraris. They're picking up a lot of points. Rowley putting a good shift as a reserve driver here, and they could be closing down dramatically, actually, the gap to the front here, as TTV Jetters is out of the race for the Mercedes. They won't be scoring any points today, so it certainly looks like second place in the championship is up for grabs. The 105 points the Mercedes are on, so Ferrari could be leapfrogging Mercedes, perhaps even leapfrogging McLaren, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Still a long way to go in this race. Still 10 laps of racing, and anything can happen around here. You know, just 10 laps ago, it looked like Dago was going to get an easy win, but he does take fastest lap of the race. Does he, Dago? No, he's only just coming out round, and he's 5 tenths up, 6 tenths up on his fastest time. So this is looking like a 1:30. Let's see what kind of pace he can bring round, but he'll be taking the fastest lap as it stands, and he'll be taking a couple of points with his position, but surely he could catch up to Paul Diver. Not a great day for Red Bull so far. Obviously the wheels falling off of Dago's fight for this, and it's a 1:30 flat. Great time from Dago on those soft tyres, but he'll surely have to pit again. He'll be hoping for a safety car, and Ali has built up quite a big lead at the front here. It's 6 seconds to LH44, who has got past Glexus. As I was discussing Dago there, he has got past the Glexus, so this will be important for him. This will be important. He cannot let this gap go any bigger. He'll have to start cutting it in half really soon and bringing it down, but any moment for Ali, and LH44 is just behind. On the hard tyres he is. One of the few cars at the front. Of course, both AlphaTauri cars starting on the medium tyres, and not usually a winning strategy, but a safety car on lap 10 absolutely has opened it up for them, because they will have much better tyre condition towards the end of the race, and the medium runners will be struggling on for dear life. Now TTV Ali is absolutely taking every bit of life out of those tyres, pulling up the gap. It was 6.5 tenths halfway through that lap. It was now up to 7.5 tenths almost, so nearly pulling a second of the lap on his rival for the win of this championship. LH44 will be very happy with second position, currently sitting 12th in the championship, so he'll be taking a big leap forward up to the lower regions of the championship standings. So it'll be a great race for him. Obviously a big Red Bull fan, you can tell by his name. And Glexus is in third position. Really actually still has kept well abreast of LH44, and actually I believe LH44 probably have to be doing a bit of defending from Glexus, so he'll not be able to go forward. And I think Ali's built such a gap at this stage, it will take a late safety car intervention or a mistake from Ali to waste this lead. We've got 7 laps left, 8 laps rather, of this Suzuka Grand Prix at the Suzuka International Race Course. And Glexus may have picked up a little bit of a warning there as he ran track limits, but he's right behind here. He's absolutely right behind him with plenty more ERS to spare, and it looks like he's going to try and go up the inside of 130R, and he thinks better of it. It could have been absolutely dramatic and skywards if he went for a move there, but LH43 keeps a very defensive line through the first part and the second part of the Casio, and has a moment, and it's Glexus has a sympathy spin. Both of them getting a little bit squirrely and fruity under traction, and Glexus fully on span it and binned it. 44 lives to spin another day, and now it's the AlphaTauri teammate IGP Anon is in third position. I wonder if they'll work together, but these hard tyres are starting to work fantastically. We'll see who's got better pace, but I think if Anon has better pace, surely LH44 will want to let his teammate through to see if he can chase down the win, but that gap has grown dramatically over the last few laps, and it doesn't look like he's dramatically closing down his teammate, so I don't think there's a pace deficit here. So those two cars just need to work together. If Anon can get into the DRS range of LH44, as long as these two cars don't make mistakes, they should be able to keep Lipix at bay behind on these medium tyres. Probably still faster at this stage, but starting to get out to the crossover where the hard tyre is better. Noddy, who's on a pair of softs, he's certainly improving here. He's up to 5th position after making a few mistakes early on, so not out of this one. There's been some good racing here today as LH44 runs a little bit wide through Spoon, but that won't hurt him, and I think Anon is just about to get into the DRS of the car ahead, but Lipix he's in the DRS of the car ahead, obviously. No DRS through here, but will be after these next set of corners, and Anon not quite doing enough to close down his teammate and get that DRS, and very slow out of traction. So Lipix tries to go left and right, and GP decides to run around the left hand side, and Anon loses that position there to Lipix, not getting a great drive out of there. And now the Haas driver has the attempt to take second position. Now Ali, it's important to note, does have a penalty, so a late safety car from him would really scupper his day. Let's have a look at what that penalty is. The penalty is 3 seconds, so LH44 just needs to close down 7 seconds here, so it's not completely irretrievable, but that gap needs to come down a second a lap. And you have to say Ali's doing absolutely everything perfectly right at the front here. The day has just come back to him after that early collision that put him down to 5th place on the first lap of this Grand Prix. And Lipix's foot has slowly moved up the order. He was battling for about 7th or 8th position quite recently, and Noddy has a 5-second penalty, does he? So he'll be looking to make a lot of time here, but these softs surely are going to go in the bin soon, because they'll be quite past it. Let's have a look at the tyre life. He has 7 laps on those softs, and Rowley senses an opportunity to gain another position here. Now he will be ahead on track because Rowley only has a 3-second penalty. Noddy has a 5-second penalty, presumably for coming into the pit lane too hot, and I believe it was under safety car that he came into the pit too hot, sped in the pit lane, and you're not even going that fast, but any margin over is speeding in the pit lane and lands you a 5-second penalty. It doesn't matter if it's 200 miles an hour over or just a fraction of a mile an hour over. You take a penalty, and Rowley has only got penalties for cutting corners, so that's a 3-second penalty, and Rowley senses the attack on Noddy anyway, because actually his tyres will be going off. Those softs will starting to feel a lot past their best here, and actually the mediums probably won't feel too good at this stage of the moment at time. And it's those hard runners, those two AlphaTauris who gambled on the medium soft strategy, the medium hard strategy, not usually the way to go. I must say usually it's hard to medium if you were running a completely perfect race, but there was a safety car on lap 10, which is basically rub your hands together in glee time for the medium runners, maybe a couple of laps earlier. But actually, Lipix is all over LH44 and going for a move up the inside of Kobayashi corner. Now he'll be out traction on the outside there. Not a lot of traction. Have to be so gingerly applying the traction as you come out of Kobayashi hairpin. And up to Spoon he goes. So, but he's absolutely putting LH44 on pressure, and Ali can just rest easily knowing that he could be only 1 point behind his championship rival at the end of this race. His championship is well and truly alive. Jack Clark missing the race to get today and not managing to pick up any points. Lipix, who is of course 7th in the championship, as he goes for a little look at LH44, he'll be looking to go well here and leapfrog up the table. You know, 2nd place here could put him in the region of 3rd or 4th place in the championship, especially as Glex has had that moment and looks to move around the outside of turn 1. Can he get it done? Yes, he is in front. I think LH44 decided better that one and backed out of it. 2 usually doesn't go into 1 through the first corners, and a good strategic move. He'll know he'll be able to battle him again, but I wonder if Lipix will have the pace to pull away here. Absolutely a superb race from him, just silently and quite clinically has weaved its way through the pack and reached the near summit of this race right towards the end. LH44 obviously will get 18 points for the position he's in, but he's actually under pressure from his teammate Anon, and Rowley just behind that. Rowley has actually got in front of Noddy. Noddy's going to try and nurse those softs to the end, but it may be not a winning strategy. He does have a large gap back to Glexus, but we'll see how that time comes down. But LH44 has managed to stay within DRS of the Haas here, so his race certainly isn't over. Of course, any kind of penalty will hurt anyone here because they're running so closely together. Everyone, of course, Ali could probably pick up another penalty, presuming there's no more safety cars, and there's only 2 more laps where the safety car could come out. But Lipix, LH44, GP, Rowley, now Rowley does already have a penalty, so he's probably reached where he can get up to 5th position. But this is a very, very, very good day for Ferrari drivers. Absolutely amazing. And they could be looking at taking 30 odd points and putting them just behind McLaren in the championship. Cupias has got in front of Paul Diver, so has made a bit of progress, but seemingly fought his way back into this one and had that moment. Of course, it remains to be seen what happened with that incident on lap 1 as Ali and Timo came together in the opening moments, leaving Timo well and truly down the yard, and Ali losing a few positions. But Noddy has decided the softs have given up the ghost and to take a pitting strategy here. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of pace he can cause on Dago. But there's every chance that if Dago tries to run to the end here, he could get a puncture. Such is the degradation of those soft tyres. They certainly won't have the best. So we'll see how that comes down, and maybe Noddy will be able to take fastest lap 2. It's currently looking like it's a 1:30 for fastest lap, with 1:30 being aimed by Dago. It's a point for fastest lap in this league. So maybe Noddy deciding, I'm not going to lose this position, I'm going to try and fight and get an extra point. And that's the way he's looking at it, framing it in his mind and hyping himself up. I can't. Well, I could do the rest of conditions. I just need to buy F1 on the PlayStation. But I think there's some very good other commentators in the other divisions already, and some more commentators coming through. But I do appreciate or maybe you don't like the league and you want me to do it because you want the league, the other commentators to they're better than me. But I appreciate the feedback if it's good, and if it's not, please let me know. Please let me know how the stream has gone, what you think of the graphics and the layouts and the scenes. Any feedback is really, really appreciated. But Noddy is closing down this gap, and Dago does decide to pit, so he wants his fastest lap too. So Noddy can try and set a fastest lap as Dago goes over the crazy Excite Bike style pit entries. And let's go back to the summit of this Grand Prix and look at this battle developing. So the 2 hard runners of the AlphaTauris are, thank you very much, Donkey? It must be Donkey, right? Donko, let's say that. So GP and on is in 4th position. His fellow AlphaTauri driver is just up in front, and they're keeping tabs with Leipzig's foot. Now, this will be interesting over these final 3 laps. Those medium tyres will start to go off the boil. Now, Ali is almost pointing out 15 seconds. You know, just 5 or 10 more seconds. What is it to pit here? It's a pit loss time of about 22 seconds here. Presuming he doesn't have any front wing damage, he's not too far away. Of course, he won't do it. His mediums will get to the end. He has a massive gap. He's not going to risk it and go for fastest lap. But with 2 laps left here, he's onto the penultimate lap. He certainly have. Oh, it's pool diver. Right, okay. You're pool diver. I'll link that in my head. And LH44 is going for a move on Leipzig. So Leipzig must have had a mistake out of that final corner, and those mediums really starting to go off. But he tries to put his car in a position where he fights too wide, but I just don't think there's any room, and doesn't want to ruin his race, but he'll be under pressure from GP, and this battling will bring GP into it, and any little mistake here, especially through the Dunlop curve that you're going through here, this left-hander of turn 7, any little mistake could be disastrous. But they keep it clean, and I think Leipzig just needs to keep an eye on his tyres, not try to fight LH44 too much. He, of course, rescinded that position 5 or so laps ago, but decided he had the pace to keep up with him. Why fight at this early stage when his tyres aren't the better of the 2? And let the Haas driver set the pace for a bit, burn up his rubber, and then attack him later on. But actually, Leipzig is keeping very, very good distance to LH44 and doesn't want to be out of this one. It's only half a second between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and just falling back slightly is ExA Rowley, but falling into a gap. Glexus actually may be able to take 5th possession off of Rowley here, so Rowley may be falling down back into that 6th position. We'll see how that develops. Rowley having a 3-second penalty as it stands, but still good points for Ferrari if he finishes 6th. And there is contact between the 3 cars. There is contact into the Casio, and the 2 AlphaTauri drivers have switched position, and Rowley, I think he was caught out by the concertina effect of that collision. If we switch back, we saw an incident between the 2 AlphaTauri drivers, and LH44 and GP Yanonov have effectively switched, with the Haas taking 3rd position. That's gutting for LH44, 2nd place position, 20 points. Would have absolutely leapfrogged him up the championship order. But what can you do? Leipzig is just falling behind here, and I think Anon felt cooped up. And Leipzig gets a time penalty. On the final lap of the race, Leipzig gets a time penalty, and that's disastrous. He'll certainly fall behind LH44. He's probably safe with Rowley, but actually, Glexus is 3 seconds away. Right, absolutely playing with death here, and he could just fit under the... Timo takes the fastest lap in 11th position, 2 points in the fastest lap that will be, but he's just over the 3-second gap that he needs on Rowley to take that 5th position. But Ali is coming through the final corner. You have to hand it to him. He had that mistake on the 1st lap, but since then he's done everything right and takes round 7 of the championship and rocket ships his way to 1 point behind Jack Clark in the championship. Anon has bided his time and got into 2nd place as the 2 cars in front had a scuffle, and LH44 will take 3rd position after a penalty is applied to Leipzig's time, and Leipzig falls to 4th. Rowley, does he maintain 5th position? I think he will just maintain it. He does just maintain 5th position, so a really, really good day for a Ferrari. And Glexus is in 6th. Somi is in 7th. Lennart, the Alpine, he's risen up from the back of the grid there, so not too bad a drive, and he's into 8th position. Noddy he's come into 9th, so pitted quite recently, and he's got back up to 9th, 10th back up into 10th. There you go. He had so much pace here and absolutely fell off a cliff. But he fell off a cliff due to bad luck. Timo also very unlucky. But you have to hand it to Ali taking his race win. I'm glad I learned how to pronounce your name at the start of the session, because I've said it a lot. Takes the race win, eked out every bit of life from those medium tyres, and it's Leipzig's FUT getting the driver of the day, at least within the lobby. I don't know how you guys do driver of the day, if you listen to that or not, but Leipzig does get driver of the day. He does not finish on the podium. So Rowley said I had a catastrophic lag in lap 23 and I lost 3 seconds. Think I could have got podium. That's disappointing, especially with that incident just before. You did fall off quite a bit in those final laps, so that must have been what that is on lap 23. I appreciate the feedback, Paul. And LH44, it really was a good race. Unlucky not to get second place there, a little bit of an incident, but it's a double AlphaTauri podium, as you say. And great points for the AlphaTauri team. Guesstimating, so 10, 20 and 18 points. AlphaTauri, that puts you in a very nice position. I think you could be going up to 5th place in the championship with that, but of course that's all TBD. And let's have just a quick boot through the race director. So Anon, the Ukrainian driver, is he? He's in second position. Ali, he's in first. Third was, of course, the second AlphaTauri driver, was second for a long time. Foot Lipix did get up to second place and just didn't maintain it. Got that penalty on the final few laps, which actually cost him a podium. Let's just have a quick whiz through all of the results, all of the incidents. I don't know if you want to use this from a later stage, and all the pit stops. I do that in my league at least. So, yeah, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Congratulations again to Ali on the race win. Commiserations to Dago. Had a lot of pace there, but just the race did not go his way after the safety car came out and completely scuppered him. But, yeah, I guess that's the end of the broadcast. We have plenty more racing to come during the week. And if you keep an eye out on the next screen, you'll be able to see the schedule coming up over the next few days. Of course, we have the PlayStation divisions coming up next. Thursday, Friday, Saturday we stream. And look forward to seeing you at next week, where we are, I believe, Interlagos. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you very much. I've been Gareth Allen. Have a good day, everyone.